Hey, it's Lemon. Welcome to the Backlogs. Today, we're going back to Bloodborne, because I've got this unreachable itch in the center of my back, and the only way to get rid of it is with another run. But we all know that any run that doesn't use fire or fire bombs in some way, shape, or form is basically no run at all. So, with that in mind, today we're going to be using the Flamesprayer. First things first, I need to make a character. I tried to come up with a name that felt appropriate, and considering the horrifying screaming I'll be hearing for most of the run, this feels right. Nothing like waking up from a good nap to start a run. I haven't felt this safe and secure since
you downloaded Atlas VPN?
What? Weren't you erased?
Only in spirit.
But didn't you say—
How great Atlas VPN is? Yep, sure did. Shut up, just shut your mouth. Turns out, Atlas VPN is running a special Black Friday deal. For a limited time, you can get a 3-year Atlas VPN premium subscription for just $1.70 a month, plus 6 months extra and a 30-day money-back guarantee. But what does Atlas VPN do for me? Well, I'm glad you asked. Atlas VPN helps provide internet security for you and your devices, all without affecting your day-to-day activities. With over 750 optimized servers around the world, using Atlas won't cause lag or increased ping, and keeps your internet service providers from artificially throttling your internet speed during peak use times. Want a game that isn't out yet in your time zone? Simply change your location, and you can get to playing sooner rather than later. Is a new DLC coming out in only a specific country? Not anymore. With Atlas, area-specific incentives are a thing of the past. And if your country of origin has any form of price discrimination, using Atlas VPN to change your location will let you ignore those pesky price increases and find the best deal for your wallet. Try Atlas VPN today by using the code in the description below, and get a 3-year plan for only $1.70 a month, plus 6 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee. What? Wait, no, hold on. I did the ad just like you asked. Please stop! I did the ad!
So what is the Flamesprayer? Well, it's essentially exactly what it says on the tin. And I'd love to show you what a flamethrower looks like in a Souls game, but we've got a bit of an adventure to go on before we can actually obtain it. Well, that was uncalled for. First things first, we need some income. I collect the free weapons the game throws my way, then immediately turn around and sell them back to the messengers. Then, with my newfound funds, I buy a few Molotov cocktails. Why? Oh, you'll see. But first, we need to make a new friend. Hi, Gilbert. He's a bit under the weather. We'll come back to Gilbert later. For now, I run around the map, collecting upgrade materials and loose souls, or whatever they're called in this game. Grab as many loose bullets as I can find, then pay a visit to our old friend, the Rolling Ball Bridge. Because I hate to say it, but we're gonna need a few souls and levels before this run can officially get off the ground. See, the Flamesprayer can only be gotten by interacting with Gilbert, but Gilbert won't give it to you until you killed Gascoigne. So, for those of you who watch my videos just to yell about how I failed due to technicalities, this is your cue. I appreciate your comment, and you can now click off the video feeling vindicated. Bye-bye now. For the rest of my audience, I've come up with a solution to the problem. A flamethrower is essentially just a machine that pumps out flammable liquid, right? Well, we may not have the machine, but I do have the liquid. And in the grand scheme of things, that's close enough for me. With that said though, I've learned enough from my Molotov-only runs to know that using Molotovs isn't going to be completely cut and dry. For one, we're going to need a steady source of income so we can buy more Molotovs if we goof up any of our attempts. And for two, we're going to need at least 20 arcane and 10 Molotovs to get the job done. Not exactly the easiest start to the run, but it's doable with enough skill. As I was saying, doable with enough skill and patience. And with that, we can officially begin the run in earnest. So, for those of you unaware, the Flamesprayer uses bullets for its ammunition. Yes, that's dumb, I agree, but we're working with what we've got. As far as stats goes, I've seen better. It scales, poorly, with arcane damage, so at least those points we put into arcane won't be going to waste. But this weapon is akin to most of the other weird weapon runs that I do, in that it gets most of its damage from upgrading the weapon itself. But why talk about numbers when we can show them? Cleric Beast, come on down! So, let's talk mechanics. The Flamesprayer spits out flame in a decently ranged cone, at a cost of 1 bullet every 1.4 seconds you hold down the trigger. Not sure who timed that one out, or why that was the number the developers landed on, but such is life. The flames also do more damage the closer you are to the target, so while it can act as a ranged weapon, you'll want to be up close and personal if you want to get the most burn for your buck. The Flamesprayer can, in fact, break parts, so that's good news, but holy shit is it hungry. Hope you like spending all your souls on bullets, because that's where they're going. Now, normally, due to our poor damage, I'd have to scrounge the map for upgrade materials and a few levels. But thankfully, the Cleric Beast fight has 10 free bullets lying on the ground the first time you fight him, which should be enough to finish the fight. I hope. Come on. Come on. God damn it, really? Alright, well, I guess that means it's time for my trump card. Blood bullets. By sacrificing a chunk of your health, you can create 5 more bullets. A risky gamble, but one that just might carry you across the finish line. Cleric Beast down, but only just. Obviously, we're going to need to improve our build if we're going to stand any chance against future bosses. Upgrading the Flamesprayer will be helpful, sure, but there's probably other ways to make it better. Right? Well, unfortunately, no, not really. Normally, you'd be able to find some blood gems that help increase your damage, but the Flamesprayer actually has no sockets for gems, which means no enormous 20% boost to damage or increased fire damage for us. Just good old-fashioned, mundane damage increases. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing packs a punch, especially if you can get up close and make sure whatever you're spraying gets a complete coat. Just don't expect sudden boosts in damage. This run is going to be a slow and steady burn. But with a +3 Flamesprayer in hand and a munitions strategy in mind, we go up against the bloodstarved beast. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lemon, you're only doing about 75 to 120 damage with each bullet. 20 bullets isn't going to be enough, and you'd be right. But I don't have 20 bullets. I have 120. So long as I can avoid taking damage, each one of my blood vials is 5 extra bullets in my canister, which means that, weirdly enough, it's much more cost effective to buy blood vials than it is to buy bullets. And for those who doubt the math, look no further. I'm only about 6 blood vials in, and the bloodstarved beast is already almost down. Every so often, I'll end up using a normal bullet, either due to mistimed attacks or simply because it's safer to do so. But the proof is in the pudding, or whatever the bloodstarved beast is made of. Another boss down, this time with much better error margins. Things are looking good. But don't be fooled. This weapon may look like a god tier build in the making, but the developers gave it one more setback. It has absolutely 0 poise damage, which means groups of enemies can swarm you pretty quickly if they aren't burned down fast enough. Just remember to stay humble, that's all I'm saying. So with that in mind, let's take on the Witches of Hemwick. This ought to be interesting. The witches themselves are only vulnerable to about 2 bullets worth of damage ticks before they warp away, so timing is of the essence. Though to be honest, at this point in the run, I had already internalized the timing of each bullet. Guess all my years of playing instruments and Guitar Hero are finally paying off. But through the fire and flames, the Witches of Hemwick go down without much issue. Let's try something bigger. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do nicely. Turns out, bigger isn't always better. When it comes to big bosses with multiple hit zones, the Flamesprayer shines. With its cone hitting several locations all over the boss, the damage really starts to stack up, especially if you can get in a heavy dose of flames instead of just small bursts. I mean, look at this. Have you ever seen Amelia fall apart like this? I mean, seriously, the Flamesprayer can almost outpower her healing ability. Probably could outpower it if I spent my souls on levels instead of bullets and blood vials. I know chat voted in favor of the Flamesprayer as opposed to the Blades of Mercy, but I think you all might have misjudged its power. This run is going to be easy. Yup, nothing but smooth sailing from here on out. With some of the trickier bosses coming up, I made sure to get what little improvements I could for the build. Upgrade materials to get the Flamesprayer up to +6, as well as a few Carol runes that gave me a larger pool of bullets and blood vials. By the end of the run, the game plan is to pump all of my runes into getting maximum blood vials, but having an increased bullet pool is a good enough supplement for now. But with my build maxed out as best I can, it's time for ooh. 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 I can't tell if they're improving or getting worse. Bar really is that low. As per usual, the katana wielder is the first target, since he's the most dangerous. The damage is pretty decent, so no complaints there, but it is a little difficult to dodge all the attacks being thrown my way, since, you know, there's 3 of them, which could end up being a problem. Each time I take too much damage, I'm essentially losing 5 bullets. Let that happen too many times, and what used to be a guaranteed success suddenly becomes a nail-biting battle of attrition. It's still looking pretty good, though. We should be able to eke out a victory so long as... Huh, would you look at that. They're learning. I will admit that one of the biggest problems with flamethrowers in video games is that they tend to take up a lot of screen space, which tends to make dodging attacks and noticing the small tells and telegraphs of certain bosses a little difficult. But that's the price you pay for raw power, I suppose. And with a few more iterations of the Bloodborne hokey pokey, you put the left one in, you take the right one now, I get the second shadow to go down, followed by the third. That wasn't too bad. Took quite a few blood vials, but that was mostly due to recovering health. No need for alarm as far as damage output is concerned just yet. Right, time for some Bergenworth pest control. Yep, definitely an infestation. We'll need to find the nest though, otherwise we're just delaying the problem. Yes sir, as far as a hive like this goes, there's only one solution that guarantees customer satisfaction. Burn it. Burn it with fire. It's the only way to be sure. Man, talk about an easy fight. Being both large and unable to get away, Rom was doomed from the start. But with Rom down, we're on to the latter half of the game, which means bigger and angrier bosses and incredibly expensive bullets and blood vials. Can't wait. What the? Oh god, they're here too? Jesus, this whole place is infected. Carl, get the nukes. The nukes! Carl! The hell, man, I was calling for you. Honestly, why do I even pretend you're still on my payroll? So yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't even bother with blood bullets for this fight. The damage you can do to Carl is insane, and you don't ever have to take your finger off the trigger if you do it right. I don't think I was even locked on for a majority of that fight, if you can even call it that. Moving on, time for our good friend David Beckham. Is that right? Is that the guy that plays kickball? I make a quick stop around the top of the arena, burninating all the people. Then I head back down to Mr. Beckham, where a few long bursts of flame are enough to get him to take a knee and cool it with the goddamn kicking. The One Reborn is yet again another boss who's extremely big and extremely slow. So as long as you don't completely zone out and forget to dodge the few attacks it has left, you'll be able to take it out on the first try. Easy peasy, let's go. Doesn't really matter which nightmare we do next, so might as well tackle the Nightmare of Menses first. Hey Miko, let's go bowling! Okay cousin, maybe another time. Considering I've been killing eldritch horrors this entire time and he's just a man wearing a birdcage for a helmet, this fight should be... So yeah, the damage is surprisingly low. I'm not quite sure how to feel about that, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was able to burst him down into his second phase, but we're shockingly low on blood vials. In the second phase, it's easier to get in close, but we've got one problem. Miklash here thinks it's hilarious to cast a Call Beyond over and over again on repeat. Like, seriously, what the actual hell? This man has at least 5 different attacks to choose from, but instead he's gonna act like every Super Smash Bros. Player who mains Kirby or Pikachu and just spam his favorite attack until I die. So that's cool. So, rather than deal with that again, I think I'd rather go somewhere else. Besides, our damage was pretty bad. Might be worthwhile to find some upgrade materials before we try him again. So, on to new prey, Amygdala. And yes, I'm saying that correctly, stop yelling at me. The Amygdala fight is actually extremely easy, since her arms and head both fall into your cone of damage. And so, with weirdly little fanfare and only a single magazine of bullets used, Amygdala goes down. Okay, I can hear a portion of the audience screaming into their keyboards right now. It's Amygdala. Don't believe me?
Oh, Amygdala. Oh, Amygdala. Have mercy on the poor bastard.
There you go. Straight from the hyena's mouth. Moving on. Time for the Upper Cathedral Ward. This ought to be good. Oh, hello there. Didn't realize this room was taken. Not sure if this particular TikTok dance is gonna catch on, but hey, anything for views, am I right? Now, before we go fry up some jelly boys, there's one very important item I want to collect. The Cosmic Eye Watcher badge. Which in turn gives me the opportunity to get a very important weapon. There it is, the Rosmarinus. Snapple fact of the day, Rosmarinus is Latin for rosemary, and is usually used as a cleansing and medicinal herb. So there you go. Learned something new today. More importantly, the Rosmarinus is essentially the arcane cousin of the Flamesprayer, and functions exactly the same way, but with arcane damage instead of fire. I personally can't really tell the difference between the two. We won't be needing it anytime soon, but there'll be 1 or 2 moments where it'll come in handy. Anyway, burn down the Celestial Emissary, melt the children so they can't get in my way, then warm up the emissary's buns as he once again slowly walks away from me making microwave noises. Is that normal? This keeps happening and I'm not sure if I should be concerned but with the emissary down, it's time for Ebrietas. Needless to say, she has the same problem all the other big bosses do when it comes to fighting against the Flamesprayer. She is a bit more mobile than some of the other bosses I fought against, but not by much. And when she starts to charge for her 3rd phase, she's wide open to a long burst of flames, which makes her 3rd phase essentially non-existent. It's not every day you first try Ebrietas, but there you have it. Flame for the Flame Goddess. Not much more to go now. Let's see what Castle Canehurst has in store for me. Hey there, Ligarius. How's it going there, bud? You look a little stiff. Nothing a little heat can't fix. So yeah, the strategy for Ligarius is pretty much the same as usual. Short bursts when you attack, avoid getting greedy whenever possible, and if you're patient and wait for the right moments to strike, you'll be whittling through Logarius' health bar in no time. There you go, Santa Claus, all toasty and ready for the holiday season. Get lost now. Go on, get. And with that, I can now get my favorite armor. And with some newfound confidence, a higher arcane stat, and a larger blood vial supply, I decided to give Mikolash another try. And you know what? It went better. I'm not sure if it was because my build was stronger, my mechanical knowledge of the weapon was better, or a combination of the two, but things were definitely going better. Now if I could just get this asshole to play nice and stop using his goddamn blast attack, we'd be fine. I know it looks like I know what I'm doing, and to be honest, I'm impressed with myself rewatching the footage. But in reality, I have no idea how to dodge this stupid attack. I'm just getting incredibly lucky. But, luck or no, in the end, Mikolash goes down. And with him down, we can finally fight Murgo's wet nurse. I have a sneaking suspicion this will go just like all the other bosses. Yep, big and slow, and an easy target. I can almost unload an entire 5 bullets into her with every attack. If this keeps up, she's not even going to get a shadow phase. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what happens. No shadow phase, no second phase at all as far as I can tell. This has never happened before. That has got to be the easiest wet nurse fight I've ever had. Uh-oh. Don't cry, little one. Here, I know. Do you want to see the latest TikTok dance? Oh. Alright then. Well, I guess it's true. This run really is going to be the easiest run in Bloodborne I've ever done. Well, I guess there's nothing left for it except to finish off the DLC. Scream all you want, Ludwig. You're next on the block. Credit where credit is due, Ludwig doesn't go down like the other big and bad bosses of the game. He's extremely mobile, so it's a bit harder to roast him with large bursts of flame. But, despite this fact, he still buckles if you do enough damage, and so long as you're fighting him up close and personal, he takes massive damage with every burst. And once he's broken down, he becomes a lot less mobile, meaning horse is back on the menu, boys! Of course, now we've got Ludwig's second phase to deal with. But with as much Bloodborne as I've been playing lately, maybe it'll be okay. Well, it was a nice thought while it lasted. In actuality, the fight itself isn't all that bad. Turns out the Flamesprayer works great if you aren't locked on. Who'd have thought? And with the super slow area of effect moves that Ludwig now favors, it becomes a lot easier to burst him down. A few fancy moves here, and a few lengthy bursts of flame there, and Ludwig goes down on the third try. Definitely one of the easiest times I've had with this boss. Which means it's time for the living failures. Again, I swear there's a joke there somewhere, I just can't put my finger on it. Because the Flamesprayer doesn't do any poise damage, getting in front of the failures is kind of a bad idea. Instead, better to take it easy and just rain fire on them from above. There's not a whole lot they can really do about you once you're up there, and while they do occasionally figure out how to follow you up onto the ledge, it's a minor issue. Just hold down the fire button and slowly walk backwards until they keel over. Oh, and when it comes time to enjoy the planetarium, feel free to just unload 10 bullets into the closest goober you can find. Overall, a pretty disappointing fight. It took longer than expected, well with their health pool being completely massive, but so long as you keep moving and burning, you'll be fine. So with that, it's time to... What the planetarium on? Hello? How do I turn this off? Anyway, let's go immediately into the next boss. It's time for...
Well alone.
What? So yeah, Lady Maria. Not very difficult with a Flamesprayer. You can usually get off 2 bullets between each attack combo she does, so it won't be long before Maria asks you if you'll treat her like a marshmallow while she impales herself. Alright, kind of a weird request, but if you really want, I guess I can apply. Phase 2 is much the same. Just squeeze the trigger and let the fire do the work. And when it's all said and done, Lady Maria is an easy boss for the Flamesprayer to take out. Just be careful you don't get overly confident. Like that. Now, just for a laugh, I decided to give the Rose Marinus a try. Maria is technically weaker to Arcane than she is Fire, though my Rose Marinus needs a bit more upgrading to compete. But everyone deserves a Rosemary Lavender misting every now and again, and Maria seems to be a bit stressed, so I'm sure this will help. Here's something I never knew. The Rose Marinus sings when you hold down the trigger for a long enough period of time. And another fun fact for you Bloodborne addicts out there, Lady Maria is allergic to rosemary. So, yeah. Oops. But now it's time for the final battle. A battle of wits, brawn, words, sick hip-hop beats, I don't know. It's time for the easiest and fastest battle of the entire run. I hope you're ready, because it's about to get toasty in here. Okay, the Orphan of Cause. You all knew this was coming. You'd think after the latest run I'd have learned the patterns by now, but like I said in that video, there's just something weird about the Orphan. I know the moves, I know where to dodge, so why do I keep dodging into the red zones? Lemon! Lemon, stop it! You're embarrassing us in front of everyone! Stop! I wish I could tell you why this boss is such a brick wall for me. Maybe if I knew, I'd be able to beat him. But I can tell you right now, with complete and utter certainty, that I have no fucking clue what I'm doing over here. What's worse, the stakes this time around are much higher than they were with the whip run. Back then, every blood vial lost was one less chance I had to learn the Orphan's second phase moveset. Now, every blood vial I lose is an entire canister of ammunition gone. And believe you me, we're gonna need as much ammunition as we can hold. I was stuck on this boss for days. Literal days. No matter how many breaks I took, and no matter how much I tried to rethink my strategy, I just kept losing too much health. Eventually, the first phase became second nature to me. Still made mistakes here and there, but more often than not I was at the very least entering phase 2 with more than 10 blood vials. But that second phase, that goddamn second phase, it's too erratic. I'm a man of patterns and rhythms, damn it. How am I supposed to work with this? In the end, I was forced to take out my secret weapon, Bone Marrow Ash. Normally, it doubles the damage of a single bullet. Pretty lethal in the hands of something like a cannon or rifle. But the Flamesprayer works differently. Bone Marrow Ash still doubles your damage, but it lasts for as long as you hold down the trigger, meaning your entire burst of fire does double damage, so long as you can manage to avoid getting hit and knocked out of the firing animation. With this final burst of extra damage, I was finally able to make it to phase 2 with enough blood vials to consistently heal myself and create bullets to spare. And just like that, somehow, the Orphan of Cause goes down. Behold, the dance of my people. May you remember it and carry it with you to whatever plane of existence you belong to. But not here. This plane is mine. But with the Orphan finally banished, we've got one more DLC boss to go. Lawrence. Using a flamethrower on a fire-covered beast. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, that was weird, but I'm sure the second time's the charm. So, Lawrence. The second brick wall of this run. Go figure they'd be back to back. Needless to say, using the Flamesprayer against Lawrence is a complete waste of time. But at this point, I finally had the Rosemarinus upgraded to max as well, so there's no issue there. And just like its flamethrower cousin, it can still break boss parts given enough time and focus. So that's alright as well. No, the main problem I kept running into was I was getting too greedy. Coming right off the back of the Orphan was probably a bad idea. I was desperate for results. Eventually, I figured out a few animations where I could unload a large quantity of bullets into Lawrence. But as you can see by the end results, yeah. Even at plus 10, we're dealing with a pretty bad damage to bullet ratio here. Thankfully, as I died over and over again, I started to become familiar with the ranges and attack rhythms. And slowly but surely, things began to look a little less dire. I died over, and over, and over, and suddenly, before I knew it, it fell into my lap. On top of me, really. The rhythm to get past all of his first phase attacks suddenly made sense. The urgency I felt to complete the run, the desperation to push forward at Mach speed, to take every hit possible and give in to greed, fell away. I would not let desperation take me, nor fear. Fear is the little death. Fear is the mind killer. And without fear, horrors that would normally destroy the minds of men and make them beasts become nothing more than fleeting thoughts, as easily dispersed as the mist I carry. No more brick walls, no more struggles, just mere mortals attempting to stand in the way of the all-cleansing flame that I wield. Broken things, struggling to merely walk upright, let alone face the feeling of celestial horror that my name invokes. What do they gain by resisting? What purpose does it serve? Mere insects, nothing more than a mild annoyance to be swatted away as they attempt to make contact with beings greater than themselves. Surely there are others like me, others who know not fear, but seek only clarity and knowledge. Surely I am not alone in the vacuous depths of space. A worthy contender, an equal adversary, a foe as ruthlessly meticulous and mercilessly stoic as myself. I invite the challenge. Welcome it. Look for it with open arms and eager eyes. And yet, here I am. Unopposed, unchallenged, unhindered. If such a being exists, it has yet to reach me. And so I wait. I wait for the one who will bring unto me a problem that I cannot solve, a strength to match my own. I put forth my challenge into the ethereal darkness. And I dance. And that's it. Bloodborne beaten with nothing but the Flamesprayer and its cousin the Rosmarinus. Not bad at all. There were a few brick walls along the way, of course, but nothing we couldn't handle with a few days of patience and repetition. If you've never tried either of these two weapons before, I highly recommend giving them a go. They give beast hunting a completely different feel. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, maybe consider doing the YouTube things to tell the algorithm gods that the video was worth watching. Who knows? They might even let Carl out a bit earlier for good behavior if it does well enough. Thank you again to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video, and a big thanks to you for watching all my nonsense. There's a lot of content out there, and the fact that you watch my videos all the way to the end means more than you know. Now if you'll excuse me, I apparently need to stop reading and playing anything related to Lovecraft, if that ending is anything to judge by. Take care of yourselves, be good to one another, and I'll see you all again soon.